From the Sly Media. This is gonna be my reaction to Suicide Squad movie bombing at the box office. I'm gonna get straight to it and explain my reasons, not in any particular order. I'm just down the numbers of reason why I think the Suicide Squad movie bombed at the box office. First of all, the movie was not a bad movie. Definitely a good movie. Directed by James Gunn. He did another good job like he always does in his movies. So it had nothing to do with him. The movie's good. If you haven't checked it out, check it out on HBO Max. Check it out in theaters. You wanna go see it in theaters. It's definitely a good movie. It's not like my favorite comic book movie of all time, but it's definitely one of the better DCU projects. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about DC as well. If you see me any of my videos, I did a video about what Warner Brothers should do with DC, so that explains why I think what's going on, why this movie failed at the box office. But I'm gonna get straight through and explain why I think the movie failed at the box office. Number one, the pandemic, the COVID-19 coronavirus. That explains a lot of people haven't been going to theaters and everything, because especially since right now this week the rise has went back up for the COVID-19, so I feel like that's why a lot of people didn't go see the movie because of that. So to me, that pretty much explains a lot. Like, nobody wants to go to the movies. Myself, I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it at one of my friends' house. So everybody's just kind of in the same boat. Nobody wants to go to theaters to go see it because it's on HBO Max. So everybody's like, okay, bumping. I don't want to waste my time. I'm gonna say HBO Max. I'm just gonna see it in theaters. So that immediately explains why, most definitely why, like, the movie bombed at the box office, because nobody really wants to go to the see it in theaters. Even though a movie like Fast and the Furious, it did so well at the box office and all this, then the third, and that movie was definitely not that good at all. Definitely one of the weaker Fast and Furious movies, but it's not online or nothing like that. I don't know, Disney Plus or HBO Max, nothing like that. So people just went on ahead and went to go see it, and that was like the first movie that kind of came out during the pandemic, after the pandemic. So everybody rushed and went to go see Fast and Furious. That's why I think it did way more than the Suicide Squad did. Both of course, two different kind of movies, but Suicide Squad definitely is a better overall movie than Fast 9 was. But that's my thing, the pandemic, number one. Second, like I said, HBO Max. HBO Max, everybody's watched stuff on HBO Max. On HBO Max, my friend of mine said it was on HBO Max literally like Thursday at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was already on HBO Max, Suicide Squad was. So pretty much it's like, people like Bumpy, why am I going to go see it in theaters when I could just watch it on HBO Max like I did? So that's to me a big thing, HBO Max. Everybody's watching on HBO Max, and on Friday I think it was online too as well. So it's just kind of like, people just like Bumpy, they don't want to go to theaters to go see it. That HBO Max and the pandemic kind of played the main two parts of it. But yeah, that's to me like, of course, a big thing. Yeah, the thing with HBO Max really kind of stopped why a lot of people didn't want to go see it. So, like I said, if it wasn't on HBO Max like that, I think it could have done better at the box office. But that's one of the reasons. Number three, I'm explaining. Well, I'll start with this. I'm going to say Harley Quinn fatigue. I think a lot of people are getting a little bit tired of Harley Quinn. We saw her in the Suicide Squad first. Then we saw her in Birds of Prey. Now we're seeing her in the Suicide Squad movie. I think Margot Robbie's a good actress. She's done a good job. She delivers every time as Harley Quinn, but it's just something about the of the Harley Quinn character is like, I think people getting fatigued. But like, Birds of Prey was a good movie. I'm not gonna say it's the best movie or something. It was an entertaining movie. If I saw it on TV right now, I would watch it. It's a pretty entertaining movie, but it wasn't like, oh, this is a phenomenal movie. It wasn't nothing real big. It was like, it was okay. Like, I don't think that even did well at the box office like that. So it just kind of like Harley Quinn fatigue. A lot of people aren't really sold on Harley Quinn like that. I'm not saying Margot Robbie's a bad actor doing it. Just Harley Quinn hasn't really kind of like got that appeal with everybody. So I think it's just a little bit of Harley Quinn fatigue everybody got from the last Suicide Squad movie, then Birds of Prey, and now this. It's like, she was good in it and all that. She wasn't the best part of the movie, but she was good in it. But I think a little Harley Quinn fatigue. Everybody's a little bit fatigued of Harley Quinn. I think if they put more of the Joker and explain her more origin story with the Joker, maybe that wouldn't have been better. Because that's one thing about Marvel. Marvel does good at setting up stuff and explain stuff way a lot better. That it's like, you could not have seen any Marvel movie, but it's just like, all somebody got to do is tell you, say, hey, you remember this? Like, go back to that movie. So that's all you got to do. So I feel like that's what happened. Harley Quinn fatigue. That's number three why I think the movie didn't do well at the box office. Once again, I'm going to talk about another reason why I think it did. Number four, Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, a couple other actors, Viola Davis, John Cena. All these guys are good actors and good actors, but they're not A-list. They're A-list. They're not A-listers, I say. Well, Idris Elba, you might say, and Margot Robbie A-listers. But they're not like Will Smith. I think it's just like Will Smith. He's just that dude. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If y'all haven't seen the trailer for the new movie King Richard, check it out. Will Smith's like another Oscar-worthy type movie he's in with King Richard. But it's pretty much like, it's like pretty much Idris Elba. He's a good actor, but he has done good movies action star-wise, like Pacific Rim, other stuff, Takers, those type of movies. Well, Takers not really action flip, but you can say sometimes like a thriller. Takers was. Those movies didn't do well at the box office. So Idris Elba's not really known for a big action star like that. He's done movies movies done made box office and all that, but it's just like, yeah, he's not Will Smith. Idris Elba's not Will Smith. Like Will Smith was like one time dominating 4 straight summers, pretty much. Like, so I think Will Smith not being in this movie and you got a bunch of actors and not really kind of just known popping like that, it's kind of like, yeah, it was pretty much hard. Like I said, I just only name like 3 to 4 people that y'all know. So that's another thing about it. Just the names didn't draw the movie. It's like, that's the big thing for me. So, the big thing to me why I think the movie do this well. Next, I'm gonna get into the Will Smith. I think this guy, John Campion, who I subscribe to his channel on YouTube, y'all should check him out as well. He does good content. He said something about online, they talk about when Forbes was talking about, they were saying the Will Smith effect. Every movie that Will Smith has done where they do a sequel without him does not do well, pretty much. Men in Black 4 did not do well. Wasn't a bad movie and all that. Wasn't a great movie either, but it was okay. But did not do well. Seems like, Will Smith wasn't in it. So that's why I didn't do well. Independence Day 2, Will Smith wasn't in it. Didn't do well. It's the Will Smith effect. It's hard to replace Will Smith. Like, I was talking to a guy at work the other day about this. People like Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Samuel Jackson, you cannot replace them. Like, you couldn't do an Equalizer 3 without Denzel Washington. That wouldn't even make any sense. Or Marvel. Marvel could not replace Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury. It just, those are actors, those are people you just can't replace. Their personality is just bigger than life. That is like, you cannot replace them. So, I feel like that was a big reason why as well. Like, you can't, it's hard to replace Will Smith. So I think him not being in this one really hurt it as well. So that's another reason why I think this movie didn't do well at the box office as well. Now, number 5. I forgot. I said the pandemic, HBO Max, the names in the movie, then Will Smith. Now it's number 5. Number 5, I should say, the characters in it. The characters in the movie, the only really big DC character that's in the Suicide Squad in this movie is Rick Flag and Harley Quinn and Amanda Waller. That's it. Well, Amanda Waller's not part of Suicide Squad. She's just in charge of it. But Rick Flag and Harley Quinn, that's it. Other characters you don't know about. You don't know about Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, Bloodsport. You wouldn't know about these guys unless you're just a die-hard straight comic book fan. I consider myself a comic book fan, but I'm not even familiar with none of them. I don't think I ever heard of Bloodsport before, Ratcatcher 2, none of them. Even though I like the characters in the movie, that's one thing I like about James Gunn. He made me like these characters and become a fan. Like Ratcatcher 2 was like my favorite character in the movie, but I didn't know anything about her or anything like that till this movie. So that's nothing. The names of the DC characters weren't as big, so pretty much it's like it was kind of hard like you to sell them to like these characters you don't know. It was different with Guardians of the Galaxy when James Gunn directed Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel already had a good track record, so it's like when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, it's kind of was just like, okay, like we already know that. That was the same year Captain America Winter Soldier came out, which I think is like the best comic movie of all time. So Marvel's track record was so good that people like didn't care. They didn't know about the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're looking like, oh snap, oh okay, whoa, okay, this is actually a pretty good movie and it's Marvel, so of course we're gonna see it. The name is sometimes it's about the name. And at the current time, Chris Pratt wasn't a famous big time actor, and he was just on the rise after doing Parks and Recreation, become a good actor in that movie. And Dave Bautista had just started getting his foot in the door in Hollywood as well. So Zoe Saldana was probably the only more like famous person that was in that movie at that current time. Bradley Cooper as well, but he voiced Rocket Raccoon, someone like he was that big. So that's pretty. So a lot of a lot of people in that movie weren't that big, but like I said, it was Marvel, so it was a totally different ball game. So I think it's what the characters in the movie Suicide Squad were like the bottomless lit of the bottom of DC movies. So DC characters, I say they were the bottomless of the bottom of the DC characters. So it kind of was just like, oh, who are these characters? You're not familiar with them. The average going fan or average going movie goer is not probably gonna go see them as well because they're like, oh, we're not familiar with these DC characters. Even if you're like superheroes, you don't know them like that. So I named my 4 reasons why I think it was, like I said, the pandemic, HBO Max, the actors that was in it, the Will Smith effect, like I said, and then 5, the characters that were in the movie. That's my 5 reasons why I say the Suicide Squad bombed at the box office. And then 6, I'm gonna do 6, this is my last thing, this planet. DC doesn't have any continuity. They don't have a plan, they're all over the place. You can check out my video when I say, Warner Bros., what are you doing? DC just puts stuff out. Like, in my opinion, like, Shazam is like my favorite movie in DCU. it was because it was a standalone movie. They mentioned Superman, they mentioned Justice like that, but they didn't mention him like, it was still like its own thing. It was a standalone movie, and Shazam is just a fun, exciting, entertaining movie. If you haven't saw it or check it out, you definitely need to check it out. But it's just like, that movie was just in his own world and all that. Same thing with the Joker, the movie that Joaquin Phoenix won the Oscar for. That wasn't superhero movie. That was just some different. That was like Buddy Up the Street or something like that. That was a straight normal movie, but it was his own standalone thing. So it's like if I'm DC, you might as well just do something like that, have your own standalone thing, pretty much. Because in my opinion, I look at it like there's no continuity on that. Like I said with Marvel, they have everything with continuity. Like the Black movie that just came out, you see the end credits scene, you're like, okay. You saw that, you're like, okay, that's where that come from. So everything ties together. So it's like you already know what's up. With DC, it was like we had the end credit scene, but the Suicide Squad, but it just showed, this for the spinoff that's happening on the HBO Max TV show. That's it. It wasn't no big, I was thinking, it might be something like the Flash, the Green Lantern, or something that hints at, or Superman, hitting something else like that's happening next or something like that. Instead, it's just like, okay, yeah, just hinted that. So it's like there's no continuity, no set. DC's not setting up or anything. They don't have a real actual plan. So that explains a whole lot of reasons too. DC doesn't have any continuity to have a plan. So people don't know, is this a sequel to a Suicide Squad? Is it not? Is a soft reboot? It just, you don't get it pretty much and all that. That's why when I heard actually rumor too that James Gunn said at first he was writing the script, but before that was gonna be, they were supposed to go against Superman at first. It was supposed to be evil Superman in the Suicide Squad movie, which I don't know if they scratched the idea and just went ahead and put it in a video game, because next year and Suicide Squad's video game is coming out where they're going against an evil Superman. I don't know. That kind of would have made more sense. Maybe it's like if they went against a Superman in this movie, because we don't know if Henry Cavill's coming back as Superman now. We still don't even know. We've been hearing like 4 or 5 different people playing Superman. Michael B. Jordan supposed to be Superman. It just, like I said, we don't know. DC is all over the place, so we don't know what's happening with Superman right now. We know the Batman movie, Robert Pattinson, is coming out next year. Then Ben Affleck's supposed to be in the Flashpoint movie, the Flash movie next year. So I don't know. I think it really determines next year when Flashpoint comes out. That determines where they're going in the DCU. When Flashpoint comes out like next year, I feel like that determines what's going to happen. That is going to be the biggest movie for DC right now. If Flashpoint flops, that's it. They're going to re-scratch actors going all that. That's why I think next year when Flashpoint comes out, that determines everything what's going on. Like I said, I don't know if this Robert Pattinson Batman, is that included in this DC universe or not. We don't know. It's just a whole different movie. I'm still checking it out because I'm a fan of Batman regardless, so I'm going to see it regardless. And we still want to know, okay, is Superman going to be in the Flashpoint? Is going to be any of those movies? Do we find out Henry Cavill really come back as Superman? And also, I know they're planning a Shazam sequel as well, so I think it comes out, I think it's next year or year after next, something like that. Shazam movie's coming out. So I think they're filming it right now here in Atlanta. So we don't know, what's happening with that and all that, but I do know Shazam sequel is coming. Aquaman 2 sequel is coming as well, so. Like I said, the only 3 good DC movies they've had that done well at the box office has been Shazam and Aquaman for the most part. That's it, and Wonder Woman as well. But the only movie, every movie they've done that's been good is kind of like standalone wise. I mean, the only movie they've done good that's pretty much been is just standalone ones with the Wonder Woman, the Aquaman, Shazam, and everything. So, like I said, DC clearly doesn't have a plan. Like I said, I just gave y'all my 6 reasons why the Suicide Squad failed at the box office. But like I said, I feel like it's not going to stop anything. I think James Gunn might still be on board because how big it's doing streaming-wise on HBO Max, the Suicide Squad is, and word of mouth. I think that'll make it better. But in my opinion, the Flashpoint when it comes out next year determines what's going to happen throughout the whole DCU. That determines what DCU still moves on now. If the Flashpoint movie does good, that determines everything, in my opinion. Also, I want to put out there too, speaking of Idris Elba, I just found out recently from a friend of mine, Idris Elba will be voicing Knuckles in the Sonic 2 movie. So that's going to be interesting. Everybody thought it was going to be The Rock. That rumors going around going to be The Rock or somebody else. But it will be Idris Elba. That's going to be interesting. Like I said, Idris Elba's a good actor. I'm not knocking him off and saying like that. He's not a good actor. He's just not Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? He's just not up there with the Will Smith, the Samuel Jacksons and all them. Or even like how The Rock is right now. He's not up there with those guys right now. But Idris Elba, doing voice acting. So I don't know if he's ever done voice acting before. I think he has. I can't name any other project, but I think he's done voice acting before in other projects. So, I can't wait to see him doing Knuckles in the Sonic 2 movie. Which is another good movie. You have to check it out. Check out Sonic. That was a good movie as well. So, Like I always say, man, y'all thanks for watching. This is Sly Media. Y'all got any comments, disagree with me, anything, that please post it down below. Like I said, in my next video, I don't know, might not come until maybe Sunday when I always do my annual reviews on Kanan, because everything from DC or any other Marvel TV shows I think start next week. Like I said, What If happens next week. What If happens next week? Then Titans, I forgot Titans happen next week as well. Then other shows are coming next month. Like I will be doing Wu-Tang season 2 reviews on that. So, Empower and all that. So, like I said, man, y'all be out, y'all be easy, y'all be safe, man. This is Sly Media.